More big names continue to enter the college basketball transfer portal, and the Indiana Hoosiers might just be trending up.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. It is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from. Need one right now? Grab a 5-Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. Stock up today and stay energized. Well, great show on tap for you today. Gonna make some second weekend predictions for the NCAA Tournament. Can the Big Ten get teams to the Final Four? Got a couple of chances, not many. We'll talk about that later on in the episode. Plus, Fernando Mendoza, new quarterback for the Indiana football team, and Pat Coogan, new center for the Indiana football team. They met with the media earlier this week. We'll break down what they had to say and why you should be excited for the offense in 2025. But more big name players, big time talent continues to enter the basketball transfer portal. I don't even know what the number is now, but I heard in less than 2 days, like a day and a half, since the portal opened on the 24th, this coming out on the 28th, that there were over 1,000 players in the transfer portal. It's insane. It's absurd to see what's happening. And again, I'll get on my step stool for just a second, on my soapbox, if you will, and I'll say the calendar is broken. It shouldn't be this way, and it's not right. But until maybe enough of us complain about it, they're not going to fix it. Good news is, Indiana, this isn't good news. We weren't in the NCAA tournament. The good news about that is that we can take full advantage of the transfer portal. And we are trying to do that with new head coach Darian DeVries. He's trying to put a staff together and trying to find who is going to be on this roster next season. We've told you about Connor Enright, which as of this recording has not committed yet. I think it's trending in the right direction. Same thing with Tucker DeVries from West Virginia. Feel very confident about Tucker and feeling pretty good about Connor Enright. But two more names that you need to know. We're swinging high on this episode today because while Indiana is looking to fulfill multiple roster spots, you're also trying to figure out who's going to fit this team the best. And I'm talking about two top 15 players in the transfer portal. The first is a top 15 guy, about 14, 15, 13, just depends on what site you look at, but it's the Xavier transfer guard, Dailyn Swain. He transferred from Xavier after Sean Miller left. He took the job at Texas, apparently during the middle of the season, which is, I guess, a popular thing to do nowadays. And so he left. Sean Miller leaves Xavier. He goes to Texas. Dailyn Swain was one of 3 Xavier players to enter the portal on the same day, on March 24th, the day that it opened. Why am I talking about Dailyn Swain? Well, his numbers are pretty incredible. He's a 6'8" guard, in quotations. I put him as more of a forward. I think that's what he plays his best at, just watching some of his film. And I think that's probably where he would be his best if he were to be at Indiana. Scored 11 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, and also dished it out 2.5 times per game this season. But here's the number you're going to like, Indiana fans. He shot at 53% from the floor this past season at Xavier. Spent both of his college years there. He was a every game starter this past year. He was a role player in his first year. So he is a rising junior in college basketball. Now, I know the question you're going to ask, well, what does he shoot from 3? Not very good. I'm just going to tell you right now, about 25% is what he shoots from 3, but he doesn't shoot a lot of them. He averaged less than 1 attempt per game. That's not his style, man. He's 6'8" and just a barrel down the lane. That's what he does. Okay. That's his style of play. He's a big forward. He's that build nowadays where he's not going to step out and shoot threes, and the defense will let him step out and shoot threes. He wants to get downhill. He wants to yam it in your face. He wants to get to the rack, finish through contact, and get to the free throw line, where he is an 82% free throw shooter. So you got that going for you if you are the Xavier transfer guard, Dailyn Swain. Will Indiana go after him? I'm not sure. The NIL numbers that they're talking about are in the, what is that, the 7-digit range? Yeah. And the other guy we're talking about is just as much, if not more. So Indiana's going to have to pony up, whether it's for Dailyn Swain, whether it's for this next guy, or whoever it may be. We understand that NIL runs the sport now. It runs college athletics. And Darian DeVries and his staff and IU and Scott Dolson and the donors and everybody that's involved, you're going to have to come off some money. You're going to have to stroke the check. You're going to have to hand over the cash. That's just how it works. And again, hearing in the millions for a guy like Dailyn Swain, who I think is extremely talented and is only going to get better. The jump from his freshman to sophomore season, he averaged 4.5 points his freshman year, 11 points his sophomore year. So he's only getting better. And again, you can call him a guard, you can call him a forward, whatever. He needs to have the basketball in his hands. And he was one of the go-to guys for Sean Miller and Xavier this season. That does concern me with the fact that he does need it in his hands. And if he were to step into an Indiana roster that could all of a sudden be pretty stacked, I don't know how that would work, but I think he would be okay. He very well could follow Sean Miller down to Texas because, as we know, they've got NIL money. The other name that you need to know, because Dailyn Swain, he's pretty good, top 15 in the portal. I'm talking about a guy that's top 3 now in the portal, and his name is Donovan Dent. He is a Lobo from New Mexico. That's right, a New Mexico transfer, one of the best scoring guards in the country. His head coach is now at Xavier. Yes, the younger Patino has left New Mexico and is now coaching in the Big East. But if you don't know the name Donovan Dent, you're going to know it. Whether he ends up wearing the Indiana logo or not, whether he represents IU or not, you are going to know his name. You may have known his name from the NCAA tournament. They lost to Michigan State in the second round. He averaged 20 points per game, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, and he shot 49% from the floor. Doesn't get a whole lot more better than that, right? 6'2", 185 pounds, the guard from California. He will be a rising senior, just completed his 3rd year of college basketball. This guy's a baller, man. Give him the ball and get out of the way. If you want to watch what he can do, go and see what they did in the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. He can shoot, he can score, he can dish it, he can dribble, he can go around you. His defense is pretty solid too. I got to give him credit there. The guy is a baller, okay? 3 years of college basketball, shoots it at about 36, 37% for his career, but just had his best career, or I guess his best season of his career shooting from behind the arc. Shot it at 41%. 41%. He doesn't shoot a lot of them, but he makes them when he does. And if you've noticed a trend when we're talking about all these portal guys, it's ones that most of them can shoot. The guy we just talked about, he's not a good shooter from the outside, but most of the ones we're talking about are. The true guards are shooters, and that's what this guy is. Donovan Dent is going to play Power 5 basketball. He's going to be a superstar. You're going to have to pay him. I'm hearing $2 million. I'm hearing even more for a guy like him, or for him in particular. The question then becomes, does Indiana want to spend that right away? Couldn't tell you. Have no idea what their game plan is, and we're not going to find out, and nobody really knows until we start to see and hear some results and some numbers. But I'm telling you right now, I think Dailyn Swain from Xavier is a very good phone call to make, and you're going to have to enter your name into the sweepstakes for Donovan Dent. Every program in America is going to call him from New Mexico. He is a top 3, top 5, no matter what site you look at, transfer right now, and he's going to make a head coach and a program and a fan base very, very happy. I'm just saying, I'd love to see it be right here in Bloomington at Indiana. All right, coming up here on the Locked On Hoosiers podcast, we'll flip over to football for just a little bit as new quarterback Fernando Mendoza and new offensive lineman Pat Coogan spoke with the media and had good things to say. We'll break that down coming up next here on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Nissan. We're all about the stats because the numbers, they just don't lie. And when it comes to the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X, the numbers are on an MVP level. With the ability to tow up to 8,500 pounds. It can quite literally carry the whole team, plus the gear, wherever you need to go. It's powered by a twin-turbo V6 engine, delivering the strength and performance to handle highways, back roads, and everything in between. And with room for up to 8 people, the Armada Pro 4X is built for big crews, big adventures, and even bigger memories. Whether you're exploring off-road trails or rolling up to the arena, the Armada Pro 4X brings power, versatility, and style wherever you go. Take your adventures to new heights in the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X. Learn more today at nissanusa.com. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by FanDuel, right? March Madness, it's here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 where to use on everything from buzzer beaters to the very few Cinderella stories, and even who's cutting down the nets in San Antonio. I've got my eye on a few underdogs still alive in the NCAA tournament, and whether you think they're an underdog or not, I'm going to be jumping on a few, and FanDuel makes it easy to back them with the spreads, totals, and game props. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all summer long. Again, that's FanDuel.com. Welcome back into Locked On Hoosiers. Again, appreciate you being here, making this your go-to spot for everything Indiana athletics. As we've been talking portal targets, going to talk a little football, make some second weekend predictions for the NCAA tournament, but just to show a little love real quick, I really do appreciate everyone being here, whether you're listening on audio, watching on video with YouTube, however you do it. Really, really do appreciate you being here. And so you know the drill, right? If you're listening on audio, follow us there, turn on those notifications, send it out to the world. Everybody you know needs to be a Locked On Hoosiers every day. And if you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, like the video. It helps it get out there more. Leave your thoughts in the YouTube comments. Keep giving me names. Keep sending me people. Maybe I've missed them. Maybe I've overlooked them. Or maybe I've already talked about them and you want to hear a little bit more. Leave those down in the YouTube comments and subscribe to our channel. That helps us out tremendously. Well, as we switch gears a little bit to the football side of things, I know we haven't talked a ton of football. There hasn't been, to be honest, a whole lot of news out of spring practice just yet, but excited to get more into it. And Fernando Mendoza and new offensive lineman Pat Coogan spoke with the media earlier this week, and I was able to listen back to the audio and watch the videos of it. And man, the first thing that stands out to me about Fernando Mendoza is he just seems like a happy, go get it type of guy. He never quit smiling. It was like a 12, 13-minute press thing or like a media availability, and he never quit smiling. He was just happy to be there. He was thanking reporters. He was making jokes. He was answering all the questions. Like, he was having a really good time, and he seemed genuinely happy to be here at Indiana. That's got to make you feel good if you're a fan, just from the mental side of things. And I'm not saying there's any reason not to be happy and that Curtis Rourke wasn't or anything like that. That's just what I kind of noticed when watching him and listening to him speak. And then he got into, of course, the weeds a little bit, talking about the offensive line and the receivers and Shanahan as his offensive coordinator and Curt Cignetti and things like that. And look, he seems very confident in the group that's going to be around him. And that's been the big selling point, right? That's been the thing we've talked so much about here on Locked On Hoosiers is while Fernando Mendoza may not be Curtis Rourke, and maybe he is, we just don't know it yet, he doesn't have to be. That's the big thing. I keep trying to tell my friends here on the podcast network on Locked On, especially with the Big Ten squad, is he doesn't have to be Heisman contending. He can just be good. He doesn't have to be great. He doesn't have to be the next Joe Burrow. He just needs to be a good quarterback. Take care of the football, make the right decisions, and get it to your playmakers. That's it. That's all you have to do. And he had some exciting things to say about the offensive line and the confidence that he already has with them. We'll talk about what Coogan said in just a minute, but that's what Mendoza mentioned, was the confidence and the cohesion that they already have. And if you're talking like that with a week and a half, 2 weeks into spring, then you should feel pretty good. And I'm talking to you, Indiana fans. You should feel pretty good about where this team is going to be once fall rolls around. Then he talked about those receivers, right? Surratt, Cooper, he named them, he name dropped them in his media availability. And he said, look, that's one of the main reasons that I came to Indiana, not just the system or the fans or anything like that. He said, the receiver room is what was so attractive about the Indiana opportunity, about Indiana wanting him when he was in the transfer portal, when he left Cal. He wanted to be here in this system and throwing to those guys, to Surratt, to Cooper, now to Stays, right? The tight end. I mean, you've got several options on the outside. Get them the football and let them go. That's all you've got to do if you're Mendoza. So that's what stood out to me and what he had to say. Kind of his demeanor seemed very relaxed. It's spring. You should be. You shouldn't be stressing right now anyway. And then Coogan took the podium, I should say. He was not on trial. He took the podium and talked to the media a little bit, and a little bit more kind of serious. It's rare to get offensive linemen, A, with legitimate media availability, and then B, for them to actually open up, I guess is the best way to put that. But he was very well spoken and had great things to say. And he said he was excited about this new opportunity. And there were a lot of good questions about his time at center, which is where he's expected to play this season for Indiana on the offensive line. And he felt very confident with the past experience that he has that there will be no issue this year. Fine by me. Good enough for me. If he's confident, we're confident, and we're ready to go. And he talked about being able to play in an offense that is going to hopefully be electric. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fast paced. There's going to be a lot of different, I guess, shucking and jiving nooks and crannies in this thing, but it's going to be well flowing. It's going to be very smooth to operate in this offense. And that's what he talked about when he was thinking about, or I guess when he did leave Notre Dame and was thinking about where he wanted to go. That's why he chose Indiana, because they believe, and think about what this means on a bigger scale, Indiana fans. This means that big names in the portal, like Mendoza, like Coogan, even like a BB Wright from UAB, you're talking about guys who could go play at other big time programs who decided to not even take a chance on Indiana. They decided to come to Indiana. They came to Bloomington because they believe in what's happening here. They believe that they can not just get better here, not just win games here, but they can move on to the next level from here. And to hear Mendoza and Coogan bring up and answer questions and talk about why they chose this place, it just proves that Curt Cignetti and the staff, they're doing their job. And it's been a long time, not just at Indiana, but just in general, that I've had confidence like this in a coach and his staff. Even just the 1 year we've seen from Cignetti, you've got to feel good about what's happening right now in the spring, the summer workouts they're going to go through, the fall ball, the fall practices that they'll have, and the preparation that's going to go into it. Even though the first 3 weeks of the season absolutely suck, you know that this team's going to be ready to go, well prepared, and fully focused for what is a tougher schedule this year. And so I was impressed. I really was, to hear what Mendoza said and Coogan said. Are we overreacting to what they said in the end of March for spring practice? Trying not to, just telling you what I saw, telling you kind of what I heard and how I felt about it. So let me know your confidence level right now in the quarterback spot, the offensive line, the offense as a whole. Let me know down in the YouTube comments, or you can tweet at us if you want to at Locked On Hoosiers on X, right? However you want to get in touch with us, let me know, because I'm curious on how the fan base is feeling right now in the early days of spring football. All right, well, coming up here on Locked On Hoosiers, going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to pull the bracket up, look at the games for the Big Ten, and talk about some that I think the Big Ten can try and make a little noise, right? We'll talk about that and what it means as a whole for the conference. We'll have that coming up for you in our final segment here on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Daylight savings has snuck up on us again, and I'm still feeling it, man. That extra hour It stinks to lose that in the spring. And if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5 Hour Energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power you through. Whether you're staying up late, watching the NCAA tournament, or squeezing in a round of golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5 Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick me up wherever you need it. Whether I'm at a game or I'm traveling, 5 Hour Energy is perfect for me and my business and podcasting and radio. It just is easy. Stick it in your bag, stick it in your pocket. You've got it whenever you need it. Head over to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. And if you need one right now, grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They are everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized with 5 Hour Energy.
The NCAA Tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA Tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
So hopefully you've been checking out our bracket breakdown show here on the Locked On Podcast Network, brought to you by Amazon, and we appreciate them being a partner with that. You can look that up on Amazon Fire TV. Just look up bracket breakdown, man. Andy and Isaac, you've got former players, you've got reporters, you've got insiders. It's been incredible to keep up with the NCAA tournament. And so be sure you do that. Just look up bracket breakdown on your Amazon Fire TV. And so second weekend predictions for the NCAA tournament, just going to have a little fun here for a few minutes. And I'm going to be 100% honest. I didn't fully think this through because pre-recorded Thursday night as games are actually happening right now and talking a little bit of Big Ten. So I'll make predictions for Thursday. If you're watching this when it comes out, tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I'll make predictions for Friday as well. And then ultimately the Elite Eight. So we'll have a little fun and we'll make it work. And so you look at what the Big Ten has, right? You've got Michigan State taking on Ole Miss. You've got Michigan taking on Auburn, and you've got Maryland taking on Florida. Plus, you've got Purdue taking on Houston over there as well. So several opportunities for the Big Ten to make a little noise. And we had some fun with this on the Big Ten Squad show earlier this week. Hopefully you were able to check that out. But I feel confident in the Big Ten sending a couple of teams to the Elite Eight. And I did say a couple. And as I say that, maybe I don't feel as confident because, look, Auburn is really, really good. They're the number one overall seed for a reason. I do think Michigan gives them a lot of good matchup problems with the two bigs down low, right? Golden and Wolf. I think you've got some really skilled guards like Trey Donaldson there at Michigan. I just don't know if the Wolverines have the dudes to keep up with that Auburn team. If Auburn plays like they did in their regular season or even in their non-conference schedule, I don't think Michigan has a chance. But if the Wolverines play like they did in Indianapolis, then Michigan's has a chance. I just don't see that one happening. So I think Michigan will get eliminated. That would be today on Friday if you're watching this on the day that it comes out or listening to this on the day that it comes out. I think Michigan State is going to roll over Ole Miss. I think the depth of Michigan State playing 8, 9, 10 guys this season compared to what Ole Miss does, which I think is about 7 or 8, if I remember correctly, for that Chris Beard team. And man, how cool is that? You've got a national championship coach in Tom Izzo, and you've got a Final Four coach in Chris Beard. Very, very cool. I just think Michigan State's too much for that Ole Miss team. I'll have Michigan State getting to the Elite Eight. This game is not yet started as of I'm doing this, and so I'm going to make a fully blind prediction on Florida, Maryland. As cool as Maryland is, man, as cool as the buzzer beater was by Derek Queen, as much fun as this team has been to follow this year, one that I think was a sleeper in the Big Ten, I just don't think they've got it to run with Florida. I think the Gators will win. They were favored by 7.5 before tip-off, so I'll pick Florida, but maybe I'm wrong by the time you're watching this. Maybe Maryland shocks the world. Purdue and Houston is one that I will be completely honest with you, I can't figure it out. I have no idea what's going to happen in this game. It happens on Friday night. That game the late night game. So hopefully you can stay up and catch this one. I'm not going to pick Purdue for a couple of reasons. One, because we hate Purdue and Purdue sucks. But two, I just think Houston's the better team. I think Houston's the better defensive team. I think they're the better offensive team. I think LJ Cryer, if he can get going against Braden Smith, I think Houston's just a better team overall. And look, I like Kelvin Sampson a lot. I think he's a much better coach than Matt Painter. And Purdue has proven time and time again, they fall short when it matters most. So give me Houston to beat Purdue tonight, and the Big Ten loses another one there. And that would be it. So as I sit here and say that, I have one Big Ten team making it to the Elite Eight. And by the next time we talk on Monday here on Locked On Hoosiers, we'll have the Final Four set. Question is, will the Big Ten have a representative? My answer is no. I think Michigan State will beat Ole Miss, but I do think they fall to Auburn, who will beat Michigan. So that's going to be, as crazy as it is to bet against Tom Izzo, Mr. March himself. I know I started by saying the Big Ten could get multiple to the Elite Eight. I don't think that happens, and I don't think we have a representative in the Final Four, which, if you heard us talking on the Big Ten squad, that's not a crazy shock to anybody. It's just, it was a conference this year that was good, not great, and has run into a great conference in the SEC. So maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. I'll know by the time this episode comes out on some of my picks, but maybe not some of the others. So let me know down there in the YouTube comments. And that will do it for today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Again, thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciate it in what has been a wild week here on the channel. If you're listening on audio, follow us, subscribe, send it out to your family and friends, turn on those notifications so you never miss any episodes. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, leave your comments down below, and subscribe to the channel. We are back on Monday, Hoosier fans. So until then, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.